Hello and welcome to this Facebook Live. Today I'm going to be speaking with Anne Curtis, and I'm just going to tag her so she knows that we're ready to go. Let me just find her here. There we go. And let me bring Anne on the camera. So here we go, Anne. Anne to the camera. Hey,
It worked.
Anne. Yes, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
Great. Well, Anne, I know that Resilient Young Minds is collaborating with you on this really wonderful project that you've got going on. And I bet a lot of people, a bit like me, have seen some of the promotions of the interviews that are being done. It's all to do with the Secret of Everything Live, you're calling it. So
Yes.
you're running this. Tell me a bit about the inspiration behind it.
Well, it started. It sort of started when I was back at Viva, the Viva event in November, and Judy Sedgman and Jack Pransky were speaking to me, and they said, "Oh, we really love the library. We really love the library, but it would be really good if we could get this out to more people. So if there's anything that you think of," and at the time, I was like, I really don't know what else I can do. And so I wasn't trying to think about it. And then just one day I woke up and thought, online summits are what gets lots of people to go and look at a particular subject. So that was the first thing. I thought, I'll do an online summit. And then it occurred to me that actually it would be better to do it for a particular group of people. And I thought the young people are the ones that we really need to not really need to, but I'd really like to get this information out to, get the understanding out to, because if I had known at that age, it would have been so great. If I had known, one of the people I was interviewing this week was talking about a dental student who and the testimonial that this dental student had written was like describing exactly all the things that I used to go through, how hard I used to work and how I wouldn't let myself have a break, and I was and how she'd changed and how her thinking had changed and how much better she was getting on and how much easier life was, but how much better her results were since she had this understanding. And I was like, yeah, that's what it's about. That's how. So I thought, young people in their teens and 20s, when they're just starting out in life, when they're struggling with all sorts of things, with relationships and money and all the things that I was struggling with, I think it would be so good if they could have this understanding now. And then it fitted in with what you were doing at the same time. So that was quite interesting. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I think that there's this real sense, particularly with Resilient Young Minds and then what you're about, which is really seeing that the young people, there's such an extraordinary amount of creativity and potential with our young people, with our young adults. And yet sometimes I think what happens, I don't know about you, Anne, but I can sometimes go a little bit into my head thinking, how can I help them without really connecting with them and finding out what's really important to them? So I'm kind of curious, how have you found the areas then that you've selected, the themes and topics that you've selected, to make them relevant to the youngsters?
Well, really what I've been doing so far is, well, two things really. One is I've been looking on YouTube for what young people are searching for. And because that's the main, I've decided to focus on having a YouTube channel mostly, because the young people are using YouTube a lot, and YouTube will send traffic to, and I mean young people who haven't seen this sort of thing. As long as we're getting good viewing figures, they will send people automatically. So I've been looking at what are they searching for on YouTube, and also what are they searching for on young people's blogs and online magazines and things like that. So the websites that they look at and search for, I've been looking on those and trying to some extent to encourage the speakers to make their titles along those lines. Well, some of the speakers already had ideas about what they wanted to speak about, and in fact most of them are are really telling their story of what it was like when they were young, and what struggles they went through and how they got through them. And seeing them today, you wouldn't believe that they were the sort of young people that they talked about being. So that's part of it. Is I know people pick it up much more from stories and the feeling than they do from, you must do it this way and this is how it works and so on. So even though they want to know, well, how do I do that, and what are the instructions and so on, I know that they're picking it up more. And even so, we've had so much good feedback from it already. You know, people saying, oh, that really made a difference, and I really want to show that to my children or to my youngsters. So yeah, so and then I think and the idea is not just for it to be this live event, but for it to be a long-term building resource, so that even if we don't get a lot of young people on the live events, which I'm not really expecting too much so far, because I haven't had too much chance to market it, if you know what I mean, get it out to young people so far. But the intention is that once all this information is there, not information, but once all these resources are there and these videos are there, then it will be possible to split them down into smaller pieces and put them on different platforms and give them better titles and more things that the young people will be looking for. So to grow it over time is the idea.
Great. And of course, you know, you've run several interviews already, and you've obviously got more to come. So give us a flavour of some of the ones that are coming up, and then some of the ones that you've had.
Well, the one today, which I haven't even put the posts about yet, is Max Ball talking about her experience with suicide and what it's like for young people, and how they can get through the total sort of despair that she went through, and how it's still possible to get through that. So there's things like that. There are some young people talking. Dan is coming back to talk again, and talk about sexuality and different sorts of sexuality and what that means and what that's like for young people. There will be other people who are talking about, including young people, about eating disorders. And that's partly how we've got it too, because we've looked at what the young people actually have been struggling with and what they've managed to get through so far. Then there have also been already talks which have included things like global warming and, you know, bigger global things, as well as more personal things about relationships. And I'm hoping someone is going to, I've been talking to someone, I'm hoping they're going to talk about sex and relationships, because I think that's pretty important at that age, and nobody much is talking about that very much. So that will be hopefully one of them. And then there'll be things about physical illness as well as emotional, and everything that anyone could be struggling with that I can think of. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Anne, I love what you're doing. If people either want to look back at some of the legacy interviews that you've already recorded and archived on your YouTube channel, or if they want to join you on some of your live interviews that are coming up, because this is going on up until June, isn't it? I mean,
it is the end of June, to the
end of June,
28th of June, pretty much every day.
Yeah, wow. I mean, it's wonderful. And I know Stu and I are going to be one of the interviews on there at some point. So I need to check that we're going to talk on a topic that youngsters are interested in. I'll better double check that title with you. But how do we find you? How do we kind of support you? How do we get the word out?
Okay, well, the website where all the information is thesecretofeverything.com. And then the YouTube channel is also The Secret of Everything, but I will link that underneath here because it's not so easy to, I think it's /C/The Secret of Everything after YouTube, but I can put the link under here. And really what we need is for people just to be sharing the links as much as possible, and particularly the YouTube links of the replays, even if not the lives. Even if people can't get to the lives, it's really more important that people watch the replays. So it's great if people can come to the live, that would be great. But if you can't, watch the replays.
Fantastic.
But that's the other thing, is the more people watch the replays and the more time they spend watching the replays, the more we get more traffic in YouTube as well. So that was helpful. Just watch them.
Just watch them. You have a cunning plan. I love it. That's great, Anne. So you're going to put the links in below this. I know, you know, like I say, Resilient Young Minds is collaborating with you on this. It's a really exciting, innovative project that we're just delighted to be alongside you. And you're going to be posting fairly regularly, just reminding people what's coming up, reminding people of maybe some of the things they might have missed and want to catch up with at a later date. So please do that. And if you're watching this, please do hook on and have a look at some of these interviews. It's an awesome resource.
Thank you.
Anne, so great to connect with you. Thanks for everything you're doing.
You too.
All right.
Thanks.
You take care. Cheers then.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.